Hello, everyone, and welcome to the reading of the week for January 5th to the 12th, 2024. There's a lot of solar activity happening these days. I'm just going to encourage you to keep drinking lots of water, make sure you're getting enough rest, just understanding that that is going to have an impact on your system. You might be finding it hard to sleep or needing more sleep. So just noticing that, not being too hard on yourself, but doing what you need to do to take care of yourself. I encourage that highly. Let's close our eyes and set our intentions together for this reading. 3 nice deep breaths, pulling us into sync across time and space. With each breath coming home to our beautiful bodies, resting within ourselves, coming home and being at ease within ourselves. And with that third exhale, imagining a tree root coming down out of the base of our spines, going down deep into Mother Earth and grounding us here and now in this time and place, knowing that that tree root is also providing us with a conduit through which anything that no longer serves us can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for our new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter, Titania, and I am here with all of your children across time and space to do this reading for the week, January 5th to the 12th, 2024. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to receive, and to provide that information in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly comprehend, integrate, and act upon for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. I'd like to invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate the exchange, ensuring that it all happens in the highest and best way possible, and that we cover all that is in our personal and collective heart and mind at this time, to our satisfaction, for our highest and greatest good. I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of clarity, of wisdom, of healing, of transformation, of peace, of enlightenment, of joy. Anything that is in our hearts and minds, may it be gathered in the circle here today for our highest and greatest good. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for creating this container of love and light across time and space that we are all contained in. And anything that doesn't match our intentions and frequencies of clarity, of wisdom, of healing, transformation, peace, love, and light is welcome to go now. Okay. And with that, let's begin. Okay, Creator, what is it that we most need to know today, for this week, for our good and the good of all those whose lives we touch, and our meaningful contribution to life itself on this beautiful planet? Lots of interesting astrology, if you follow that sort of thing. Lots of people bringing forward the energies for the coming year. I like Pam Gregory, astrologer. She has a channel on YouTube. And just interesting to become aware of the possibilities and the energies that surround us. Just like doing these weekly readings, we can leverage them for our good so that we can participate in helpful ways and take care of ourselves if the energy is intense. So, what is it that we most need to know for this week of January 5th to the 12th, 2024, for our good individually and collectively, and the good of this beautiful planet we call home? Okay, we're starting with the Temperance card. So, we have the human here holding up her vessel, and the angel is pouring the water of life into the vessel of the human, and the human saying, yeah, that's good. Whoa, that's enough. So there is this quality of balance, of needing to do things in right relationship to ourselves, knowing when we've hit our limit, knowing when we need a break, knowing when we're maxed out. And the higher octave of this card is the word verification, or the meaning of verification, which when we're younger in life, we understand well. As teenagers, it's understood that we're going to try things on. We're going to do funny things to our hair and maybe pierce our ears and our nose and do other stuff, wear different clothing than we've ever worn before, because we're trying on different aspects, identities, to distinguish who we are. We're trying to figure out what represents for us physically what we're feeling inside of us. We want to be something. and we're trying to figure out what that is. That continues throughout our whole life. It's just different at different times in our lives. So the card of Temperance, it is about balance, but it's also about verification. It's also about going forward in a way that honors ourselves and trying things, moving towards our yes, taking on different aspects of the yes and experiencing aspects of the yes to discover if it's for us, what parts of it are for us. Because we're always refining, we're always clarifying for ourselves who we are, what we are, and who we want to be. And every experience that we live through, every contrast that we go through helps us to clarify more and more what it is that we prefer. And as a result, we can move our boat more accurately in that direction or more smoothly in that direction. So this card is sitting in the position of the recent past. It is a major arcana, has to do with our soul growth, our evolution, and it has to do with us being self-aware. So we know we've had experiences of balancing, we've had experiences of verification, we've had experiences of temperance, of not overdoing anything, but at the same time giving ourselves permission to try things in a way that honors us, honors our energy, honors our capacity to honor our responsibilities, but at the same time gives us a chance to try something new, bring something fresh and new into our lives so that we can refresh ourselves and always be moving towards more love and light. So this is important into our present and in our future this week, this idea of what refreshes us, what inspiration is in your field that feels like it will breathe new life into your experience. Because we all have those things, the yes, as I call it, and there will be things that are surfacing now that are more yes than others. And so I encourage all of us to pivot and move in the direction of our yes, the highest enthusiasm, those aspects of our lives that bring us to the more life, more energy, more enthusiasm. The present card, we have the card of defeat. And of course, the character is not crumpled in a little heap on the ground. They're standing on the white rose of purified desire. And they're facing whatever is coming towards them from that centered and grounded place, knowing that they have whatever it is that they need to move through whatever adversity life is throwing at them. It is a sword, which is about the mind, ideas, and actions. And so this can represent those incoming spikes, those incoming swords can represent distraction. They can represent other people's invalidation. They can represent information that's coming in and seeking to disrupt and unbalance our energy field. But if we stay centered and grounded in our love, in ourselves, taking care of ourselves, moving forward in good ways, we won't have the adversity of this to the same degree. We can remove our attention from that and focus instead on why are we here? What's important to us? What is it that we're here to contribute? All things that are very, very important. So it's not to say that there won't be things that rattle our cage, because there will be, but we can manage it much, much better if we stay in a place of self-love, self-care, and self-awareness. With good boundaries, with self-awareness, knowing that, okay, that's too much. I can't take that piece on right now. I need to integrate more self-care, which, as I said at the beginning of the recording, with all the solar activity, that's having another layer on our physiology. So just being mindful of that and aware of that and conscious of that. And of course, the ongoing experience of humanity on the planet, we're all connected. And so there is that constant charge that's going on. So yes, we can be aware of it, but we don't need to allow it to rock us off our centers. It's really, really important that we come home to our hearts and come home to our wisdom, come home to the wisdom of the body being the compass, knowing the answers that we need at this time, and focusing in good ways so that we aren't dissipated and we aren't distracted and we aren't pulled off course by what the outer world is trying to project into our field. We're living from the inside out at this point. That's where all of us as humanity need to be. Guided from our inner wisdom, our connection to the broader wiser source, which all of us have, and we're called to cultivate at this time, and living from that space outwards rather than letting the outside in dominate us and control us and push us in particular directions. It's information, we can take it in, but we ultimately are the ones who make the choices. Near future card. This one's been coming up a lot. The card of celebration, the Three of Hearts. We have three dancers enjoying life, dancing around with their hearts, sharing their enjoyment of life. It's a beautiful card. So this quality of energy as we're moving forward in life, looking for opportunities. I mean, we've just had the winter holidays here in the northern hemisphere. I'm sure they do it in the southern hemisphere too. But it's the time of, in the middle of the dark of the winter, we come together and we celebrate together. And there's a lot of goodness that comes from being in the company of others. Oxytocin is released when we're with others. And that shifts us into a more positive and resilient and resourceful state. And so this is just this beautiful reminder going forward into the future that we can create opportunities to nourish ourselves. And it's important to do so. So choosing to be with people who are, positive and uplifting and holding life in a good way, who are maybe also coming at life from this purified desire space. Intentionally choosing to focus on the good, to focus on the beauty, because that's what then we pull more into our experience and that of the world around us. Where attention goes, energy flows. We get to choose where we put our attention. So paying attention to that is pretty important. The foundation card, why we're having the reading this week, we have the Queen of Wands. So the fire element, the generative element of fire. Wands is creativity, inspiration, and passion. It's that capacity that we have to pull life through us and express that life force through our unique voice, our unique way of expressing ourselves out into the world. It's the foundation. It's why we're having the reading this week, is this quality of life-giving expression. And it's the feminine energy. So this isn't a more structured and linear and practical kind of one piece at a time sort of quality that we get with the king. It's the queen. It's a felt thing. It's an intuitive thing. It's this attraction to aspects, integrating those aspects and using that as part of the expression of our voice, of what it is that we're here to say, what it is that we're here to do. So this generative, creative expression, mastery of it, actually, because it's the queen. Kings and queens represent the mastery of their element. So it's our ability to be really masterful in our expression out into the world, our sharing of our gifts in unique ways to bless not only ourselves, because it's so renewing and generative to create something wonderful, but also to share that with others and inspire and create opportunities for others to see possibilities in their space as well. That's the wonderful thing about witnessing fabulous art, is it opens us up to beauty, and beauty renews our spirit, and it inspires us. It may not be in the same way as the way the artist rendered the image, it might be, but more likely than not, it just opens us up to possibility. Beauty is expansive. And witnessing beauty expands us. It opens us up to love. It opens us up to life. It opens us up to inspiration. So being a center of that for others is powerful. And putting ourselves in these kinds of environments is also very powerful because it nourishes us. And when we're nourished, our cup flows over, and that overflow can then go out and nourish others. So it's this really wonderful thing about honoring our desire to be inspired to move towards our yes, and understanding that the yes is where life wants us. It's where our cup will overflow out into life, because our world and our experience and our expression will be so rich and full. So that's our foundation this week. So giving ourselves permission to get into this inspired, generative, creative space, whatever that is for us as individuals. You might like to play a musical instrument. You may be somebody who likes to invent things. You may be somebody who likes to design things, or paint, or do art, or knit, or create something, or garden, although it's a little cold this time of year. But you get my drift. The idea being that being in a generative space, doing something creative, and allowing our voice to come through, or that creative generative energy to come out through us into something out into the world, is beautiful and powerful. Maybe even that's your vision board if you haven't done it yet for this year. Helping to kind of pull the inspiration from your field out into a three-dimensional object outside of yourself, so that you have more ease and flow and celebration in your experience, because, well, when we do a vision board or a master list, we recognize those pieces more readily and our life just flows with more ease. And who doesn't want that? So this week, this balance card, trying things on, but doing it in a way that respects us, respecting ourselves and our limitations, and being intentional and balanced, pursuing our growth, but doing it in a way that honors our humanness and our physicality. Paying attention to ourselves and our desires, our heartfelt desires, our purified desire, the loftier aspects, the broader, wiser part of us, and the inspiration that we carry in the face of whatever adversity. Because again, the unfolding of life continues to happen both from the inside out, but also from the outside in. But we're here to live it from the inside out. And so we can see what's happening in the outer world and use it as information, but we're here to live from the inside out and not get knocked off our center by whatever is coming in from the outside. In the near future, this focusing towards good, focusing towards celebration together, focusing towards creating something magnificent together, where we're enjoying life together, keeping that in our hearts, not from the space of believing that the world is going to a horrible place, because it's not. We're simply witnessing the upheaval and the end of a certain period in time and a certain frequency of energy. And there's a new life force and a new energy that's rising on the planet and has been for some time. Some individuals are already fully embraced and living that frequency. It's that alternate structures, alternate possibilities that others are creating parallel to the existing systems that are failing and falling apart. So there is hope, there is beauty, there's celebration in the future. Look for it, seek it, create it. That's part of what will bring us greater fulfillment and satisfaction and joy in our lives. We can create this celebration with others. And then this lovely energy of the Queen of Wands, of this generativeness, this quality of making things happen, of honoring our generative potential and pulling it out into the world and making beautiful things happen. Again, it can be just for ourselves, the satisfaction of a beautiful meal or making ourselves something wonderful, but it's getting into that generative energy. It's getting into that creative spirit and funneling it out into the world in a good way so that others might be touched, moved, and inspired, but most importantly, we're renewed and we're filled by it. Coming back to this idea again of our cups being overflowing, because when we are, that beautiful energy spills out into the lives of those around us. When we're happy and thriving and fulfilled, we have energy and bandwidth and gifts to spare. And so that is the energy that we want to carry forward into this beautiful celebration and being with others. But again, if you're one of these people who's feeling like the holidays have been enough and you need to take care of yourself, then respect your boundaries. Do something to renew yourself. Once again, you don't have to do this to fulfill others. You can do it to fulfill yourself, because when we are whole and complete, then we're in a space where we can be of service to life in more beautiful ways once our cup is full. But we're not much good to anybody if our cup is empty. So that's the reading for this week. Summarizing it, let's pull a card to grow on so that we can just kind of gather up this energy and grasp it, perhaps in a different way, a slightly different frame, so that as we move forward this week, we can carry this energy forward in our hearts and minds to be of greater service, building a beautiful life for ourselves, for those around us, and the world at large. So Creator, what is our card to grow on this week? What would be most helpful for us to know, to stay aware of, to stay present to, as we move out from this reading, out into the world, into life, into greater self-awareness, self-understanding, and contribution to the world? So I guess the Temperance card is important this week because it's been repeated here. So the Temperance card, balancing, coming from a place of knowing when enough is enough, knowing where our boundaries are, knowing where our limits are, knowing when we've hit our edge. Being able to say to life, that's good. I'm going to pause now. I got to integrate what I've got, and then I'll get back to you. So this week, moving forward, as we move into this new year, as we get our momentum going for this new year, knowing when we need to pause, knowing when we need to be balanced, knowing when we need to take a step back. As we go out and we verify and we're sampling life and trying things on and saying yes to our yes, we also need to say yes to ourselves and our bodies and our wisdom, because we are in human form. The human form needs rest to integrate all of its experiences, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That sleep time, rest time is very, very important to us becoming more. It's part of our evolution. We heal when we sleep. And so we need to be paying attention to that as well and moving forward in a way that is self-respectful, as well as engaging with all the good that life has for us. So our card to grow on this week is the Temperance card. It is a major arcana. It has to do with our soul growth. Learning to have healthy boundaries is very important for each and every one of us to thrive in this world and to coexist, because if we're going to be in community and working with each other, we need to be, again, taking care of ourselves so that we can be a clean and clear vessel for more love and light to flow through. And that starts with us taking care of ourselves and resting and having the downtime that we need to integrate and be wiser and clearer and more grounded. We're less likely to fly off the handle if we're well rested when we're in relationship with others, and we can communicate more clearly and easily and be more resilient and resourceful through self-care. It's also about that card of verification, so that quality of giving ourselves permission to move towards our yes and try it. Try it on. Try the things that attract you. Try them. Give yourself permission to move in the direction of what holds your highest enthusiasm, what holds the highest energy. Paying attention to that, because that's where life wants us. That's where more life is waiting for us, ready to flow through us, so that we can make an even greater contribution, not only to our own well-being, but that of all those around us and our larger contribution to life itself. So it's a pretty interesting card to get as both, the past card moving in for this energy of this week, but just our energy this week, just being really mindful of temperance, of balancing. Okay. So with that, I invite you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath with me. Creator, this is your daughter, Titania, and I'm here with all of your children, and we've just completed the reading of the week for January 5th to the 12th, 2024. Thank you for this opportunity to become aware of the energies and the set points of the week so that we can be engaged with them in a mindful and cooperative manner for our own well-being and our smoother flowing through life as resilient co-creators with the life force. Cooperative components. We are cooperative components. And being part of this life flow of energy and conscious of it and aware of it is supportive of our good and the greater good that we want to contribute for ourselves and for others. So thank you for this wisdom and information. I want to thank all those who helped to hold this space today. And I want to thank you for being here once again this week. May this information serve your highest and greatest good, and the highest and greatest good of everyone whose life you touch. May we all rise together and do good work. Have our cups full and overflowing of goodness, where we are all blessed. Much love and light. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you next Friday.